Hello, beautiful. Welcome back to the Way of the High Priestess. I'm popping in today for a mini episode. Now, we've all been experiencing massive change in our lives on the individual level and on the collective level. And even when change feels really positive, it can still create a toll on the body. There's still an experience that our body is having on a physiological level, on an emotional level, on an energetic level. So, what I want to share today are three really simple yet powerful practices to help us maintain energy flow through the body, to help us feel grounded, to help us feel safe and at home within ourselves, and to help us navigate through the world and through all of this massive change we're experiencing with sense of intentionality. So these three practices that I'm going to share today are really easy. They are breath, sound, and movement. These are three ways to move energy through the body, to shake shit up, to move shit out, and to get the senses back online, the senses engaged. And as we know, when our senses are engaged, we can be really present. We can be really in the present moment when we notice what we're smelling, when we notice what we're hearing, when we're bringing awareness to what's happening around us right now. So let's start off with breath. There are a number of different breathwork techniques that can help us do different things in the body. And so if you've tried breathwork before, then you may know that doing some of the more rapid, forceful breathing can help us really move through stuck and major emotion. It can elicit actual responses, emotional responses, physical responses within us. And many times we can feel cathartic after. Sometimes we feel lightheaded. But this is one way to move energy through the body. And of course, let me just say this. If you haven't practiced with breath work before, then I would recommend having a guide to lead you through breath work. Make sure you're sitting down. Obviously, make sure you're not driving or operating machinery. Make sure you're in a place where you can settle after the breath work. So, really allowing some time after your practice to meditate, to go inward, to let your body settle before you go back into the day and pick up where you left off. So that's one kind of breath work, is that more rapid, forceful sort of breathing to really create a forcing mechanism to move through something. And of course, there are many other benefits to rapid breath work than moving through emotional blockages. Um, but in the context of this episode, we're talking about how we're becoming more grounded, how we're moving through emotions. So, on the flip side of that, rapid breath work coin is slow, prolonged, deep breath work. And of course, these are not mutually exclusive in the sense that rapid breath work can also be very deep. But what I'm referring to is taking very slow, big inhales and big exhales. That's another way to move energy through the body. And it really helps calm the nervous system, helps to get our body from a sympathetic fight or flight state into a parasympathetic rest and digest state. So I'll share some examples in a moment. You'll hear my breath in some rapid breath work and some slower breath work. What I'll say here is if you find that you're in a place where you're stressed out, you're feeling wired, things are feeling intense, you may opt for a slower, deeper breath. If you find, on the other hand, that you're feeling sluggish, you're lacking energy, or you feel like there's an emotion under the surface, but you can't quite access it and you want to be able to access it, then the faster, more rapid breath work might be your breath work of choice. So that kind of captures it for breath. There are plenty of known scientific benefits to breath work. And of course, often we don't allow breath in. A lot of times we are operating from a place of fight or flight, from a stress response, from anxiety. And when we do that, the first thing to go is our breath. Our breath becomes shorter, it becomes faster, and we receive less oxygen into the body. We have less access to our faculties, and our senses, and typically to the present moment. So, practicing with breath can really allow us to feel grounded, to feel aware of what's happening, to access our faculties and our sense of, um, I don't know, what would I call it? Our sense of um, awareness, our sense of intentionality, our ability to make rational decisions. That's where I want to go with that. Um, and it can help us to really handle what's happening, because even though there's a lot of great change happening in the world right now, there's also a lot of drastic change happening, and it really, like I said before, does have an impact on us. So moving into some breath work, when we're doing some of the rapid breath work, some places you can start, you can look up breath of fire. If you're looking for a YouTube video, you can look up a breath work technique called Bastrika. I believe that's Bastrika, but I'll double check that. Bellows breath is also another great, more rapid breath work technique. And if you're looking for slower breath work, then look into things like alternate nostril breathing. Um, there's one that's called 557 breath, and that just indicates the number of seconds you breathe in, the number of seconds you hold your breath, and the number of seconds you breathe out. So you can also look up breath work for relaxation, breath work for low energy, breath work to clear emotions. These are all great search terms on YouTube that you can use to really support yourself with a virtual guide as you go into some of your breath work. So with that, why don't we all just take a nice deep breath in and out. Let's do that 2 more times. Deep breath in and out. One more slow, deep breath in and out. And if you want, you can close your eyes. You can also keep them open, but just become aware of your physical surroundings. If your eyes are closed, maybe you draw your attention to how it feels to be sitting in the chair you're sitting in, or how it feels to have clothes on, how it feels to have clothes touching your skin, or how it feels to have your hands resting on your lap. Whatever it is, just draw attention to something in your physical environment. Maybe the way something looks, perhaps the sound of my voice. And as you do that, just take another nice deep breath in and out. Just notice if your body feels any different now than it did before. Beautiful. I even feel more calm after that, because I have to be honest, I was a little wired sitting down to record this episode. I could feel myself in the fast pace of my day. So I'm grateful for this opportunity to be breathing with you right now. Okay, so feel free to keep those slow, deep breaths going if it feels good for you. But we're going to move on to sound. So sound is another really powerful way to move energy through the body, to get unstuck, to release stress. Something I love about sound is that oftentimes there's something I want to express. There's something that wants to come out of me, but I don't know the words for it. It's either pre-verbal, or I haven't done the psychologizing of myself to really understand what's happening for me emotionally. There's just something that wants to come out, and I don't want to have to think intellectual thoughts about communicating something. And that's where sound is a great tool. Now, obviously words are sounds, so I'm making sounds. I'm making sounds right now, excuse me. However, the sound I'm referring to is sound without any particular meaning. So maybe a sound like, oh, there's no inherent meaning to that. We can make meaning and say, well, she must have had a hard day. She just took a deep sigh. But what the practice is here in sound is just taking deep breaths in and letting whatever sound wants to come out, come out. So whatever emotions or feelings or sensations are happening in your body, we don't have to know what they are. If you do, that's cool. And you can just let out any sound that wants to come out as a form of expression, as a form of release, as a form of catharsis, as a form of just letting shit go. So I'm going to demonstrate this. You're going to hear me make some weird sounds, just so you know. And this is a practice that you can do anytime, mostly, depending on where you're at. And it's just a really great way to express. So I always start with some deep breaths. Just let's start by taking a slow, deep breath in and letting it out. And with each deep breath in, on the out breath, we're going to make a different sound. This requires no thought whatsoever. If there is no sound that comes out, that's fine. Whatever sound comes out is fine too. Take a nice deep breath in. Another deep breath in. 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 Take another deep breath in. Just let it out with a sigh. Just sit here in silence for your next few breaths. Just notice what's happening in your body. So today I have felt a fair bit of stress, frustration, anxiety, and it might have been indicated in the sounds I was making. Now I'm aware that I was feeling these things, but sometimes I'm not aware. Sometimes I don't know what's going on inside. It feels like a whole heap of shit. And sometimes I just need to let some sounds out to express what's happening before I can make any sense of anything. And as things are happening in our internal environment and things are happening in our external environment in the world around us, sometimes we just need to express. So creating a practice around the first one, breath, and the second one, sound, can be a really beautiful way to support ourselves in releasing emotion, in expressing emotion, in helping ourselves to make sense of things, in just letting stuff out of the body so that it's not staying stuck. So often we push things down, especially as women. We've been taught that we have to be pretty, look nice, be quiet, have an agreeable opinion, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's all bullshit. And sometimes we just need to freaking express. So this can be a really beautiful practice that you keep, that you can do anytime you feel comfortable in letting yourself just let it out. And you don't have to go into the psychology of why you're feeling this way, how you should or shouldn't be feeling this way, what so-and-so did or didn't say, etc., because that gets exhausting sometimes. Sometimes you just want to give yourself permission to fucking let it go. This is a great practice to just let it go. No need to think about it at all. And if thoughts come up after, great. That's fine too. Okay, so that was sound. Now, in my sound practice, I get wild sometimes. So I will scream, I'll bark, I'll hiss, I'll snort, I'll make just whatever sound wants to come out. So I invite you to get wild with it. And it's okay if you don't feel comfortable at first. I really need to let myself warm up sometimes, even to myself. And so take it at your own pace. Be kind to yourself, and whatever is there, allow that to be there. And of course, if you feel you need support after, then reach out to a trusted friend or loved one to get yourself the support that you need. Okay, so part 3 of this practice is movement. Now, you can do any of these 3 parts separately, or you can pair any of them together. So movement is, again, using movement to express, to emote, to move energy through the body. And typically how I do this practice is I start with some gentle movement, the way I started with some gentle sound, the way I started with gentle breath. Letting the body warm up, unless you know that you're ready to just blast off into it. I typically like to give myself a little foreplay, if you will. So I'll start by just doing some neck rolls, and I'll pair some nice deep breathing with that. So you can even do this as you're listening along, just rolling the neck, bringing some fluid movement into the body. Because again, often we're sitting at our computers or in a car or sitting in a static position for hours at a time. So just letting the body move in any way that feels good. And listen, we all have really powerful intuition and body wisdom, so your body's going to let you know what it wants. So if it's not a neck roll, do what feels good for you. Maybe that's rolling your shoulders. Maybe it's stretching your arms up and out. Maybe it's rolling your wrists or twisting your back. Maybe it's stretching your legs out. Just doing whatever gentle movement feels good. Maybe it's positioning yourself in a certain way, curling up into a ball and stretching out. And as you start to become familiar and fluid in your body with giving your body what it wants right now, maybe there's other movement you wish to take. It could be turning a song on and dancing to the song. It could be going through a Tai Chi sequence. It could be just getting silly and hopping up and down and shaking, just shaking all that shit off. It could be a happy dance because great things happened today and you want to celebrate by jumping up and down. Wherever you're at, allowing your body to be and feel free, allowing your expression to be and feel free, taking loud, deep breaths, taking up physical space by stretching out and moving around, and making whatever sounds are true for you in the moment. That makes me take a nice deep breath. So breath, sound, and movement are 3 ways to move energy through the body. And I'll share more in future episodes about how we connect to these things to really connect to our sexual energy. For now, I just want to end this mini episode here by giving you these tools to move energy through the body, to feel grounded, to come back into the present moment, to emote, to express, to create a sense of catharsis, relief, and relaxation in the body. Because again, we're all moving through some really big stuff these days, individually and collectively. And to have these tools handy in our back pocket is always really useful and supportive. So please reach out if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. You can drop me a line by reaching me at hello@linoto.com. Also, I'd love to connect on Instagram if we're not currently friends there. I'm at Linoto_. I'm wishing you, sisters, so much love and good vibes today. May this tool serve you. May you feel fully expressed in your life. And may you continue to kick ass and be a pillar of light and joy. Much love.